Hey guys, welcome back to our Dune Prophecy review where we take on episodes 3 and 4. Consider this our mid-season review. Previously, we reviewed episodes 1 and 2. Check out that video in the premiere. Here, we're basically a little bit more than halfway through the series. Wow, already. I'm already thinking to myself, man, is 2 episodes going to be enough to resolve all these thread lines? And I'm feeling like it will just barely be enough, maybe, if even that. I'm a little worried. Frankly, I left off most positive on Dune Prophecy's premiere, and you guys were a little bit, more tepid on its debut. And I'm like, okay, so hopefully it gets better from here. I was immediately slapped in the face because episode 3, in my opinion, Sisterhood above all, was one of, so far, the worst of the series. Now, I know other people are going to have different opinions than me, and that's perfectly fine. But I thought it was definitely a below average episode. Yes. And when you get to episode 4, which I think gets better, that one's called Twice Born. It's like you literally could have gone from episode 2 to episode 4 and you'd be all right. Because episode 3 is essentially a flashback for both Valia and Tula of the Sisterhood, the sisters. And what they do in the episode, while interesting, I don't really feel moves the plot forward in any way. And I felt it was a lot weaker. And if we only have a limited amount of time in 6 episodes, there are way more questions to be answered. And we got to get this thing moving, which episode 4, thankfully, gets us moving again. However, I just found more kind of problems with
spinning its wheels, not really going anywhere. Though.
Yeah.
That's how I felt with 4.
Yeah, and I disagree on 4. 3, I agree, but however, both episodes for me are starting to kind of open up some rifts with my brain and the Dune universe. Like, how the fuck do the house sizes work? Like, how big are each house? How much power do they have? How many planets are under their thing here? We're getting great reveals from the show. If you're a fan of the Dune lore and Dune books, we've got this huge reveal at the end of episode 4, the face dancer. That's a Tleilaxu face dancer, which can shapeshift into different things, which seems to be Valia's sort of hidden last resort trump card in order to get stuff done that she needs done. She's desperate now that Desmond Hart has been outmaneuvering her at every turn, including episode 4 in a big and very interesting way. So you got the Tleilaxus, you got the, how exactly the houses are working. You even got Ixians. I never expected Ixians to get involved in the show. This is a faction with this bullheaded dude that shows up with this hunter-killer a bomb. And they're a faction that uses, a race that uses technology and, widely across the galaxy. And they would probably be most linked to, AI and the robot wars and illegal goods and information. So it's like, man, we are really putting it in there. And I love it, and I love it. And so hopefully, though, by introducing these characters, people from the books and the lore was like, well, wait a minute. What, is it too early for the face dancers? And these ideas of perhaps Desmond, I have some theories on Desmond and who he is and what his mystery might be, and it creates a lot of questions. So these next 2 episodes, 5 and 6, better really be all of the goods. However, after a weak episode in episode 3, I do think things got a lot better when we get back to Desmond Hart, and the older sisters, the current timeline's sisters, the Reverend Mothers, rather. The Sisterhood, the Acolytes, still, to me, the weakest part, not interested. I am interested in the Reverend Mothers, the house power plays, which we get a really great scene. The Landsrad meeting was cool. It was awesome to see in the Dune universe how that works. Multiple houses are showing up. They're announcing these houses. I've never heard of them, but, this is 10,000 years ago, so So it's pretty cool to see, what powers they have. And then basically House Carino and the Emperor, turns out his scheming wife, and, he's got his daughter doing shit. He's got his son doing shit. He's got his wife doing shit. Everybody's out of line with their own motivations, but ultimately it culminates in a show of force from Desmond Hart, who there was going to be a assassination plot where the entire Landsred was going to be, blown up. Now, Valia had prior knowledge of this, and she was going to act and she save the Emperor and get back into the good graces of the Emperor. But Desmond Hart, always this one step ahead. How is he doing this? He's just moving at the speed of lightning, and he is able to outmaneuver her and become the hero yet once again, and then get across this message of power and strength from House Carino. You cross us, you disobey the rules, you use AI technology, you're going to get it. So I think we're back on track there, and I'm curious how the last 2 episodes go, but I think this was a weaker section. What do you guys think?
I agree. You obviously have more knowledge about the Dune stuff.
Yeah.
But just me watching this as a casual, I don't know much about the Dune universe.
Yeah, I am very interested in your perspective.
The third episode was, like, it's been stated before, like, it just felt out of place. That shit should have been in the first episode and then go from there. Mm-hmm. We'll catch with the sisters.
Yeah.
But this one...
That's what Alex mentioned to me a while ago.
Third one was kind of, like, boring. I honestly didn't really care about it. It's just like, all right, whatever. We could have skipped it. Going into fourth, I did like that meeting at the end, but like I said, for me, it was kind of spinning its wheels. Like, okay, well, it's the prince we got to figure out, or the guy that got killed is like, well, he brought in the machine. It's forbidden. He had to make an example of it. The guy's trying to get power or something like that. I do like Desmond. He's the strongest by far. The strongest. I'm liking that. But again, I wanted to see with the rebellion and everything else what's going on, because we only have 2 more episodes left. And I forget what the princess's name is.
Yeah, I've heard her name.
Wait, the princess?
Princess.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that love story that's going on. It's like, well, I want to betray our father as well. And
an independent young princess dealing with the pressures of her responsibility.
Yeah, I don't care.
And as heir to the Golden Lion throne.
Yeah, and that's the stuff I don't really care about. I'm more intrigued at the end of the stuff. It was like the meeting was cool. The Desmond stuff was cool.
Yeah.
Desmond and Valia, that stuff I find interesting.
But the rest, you agree with me, Joe? Some of it just rings hollow.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's being presented in the way they best think to present it to us, but I'm just like,
and that's why I think with some of the knowledge you have, it's like, oh, that's cool for this and this, and like this might tie
but even with my knowledge,
on.
It's not really
and for me, I'm like, okay, like, oh, like that was cool. The shapeshifter at the end, it's like, oh, thank you, Theo, and all that stuff. It's like, okay, that's gonna be a play in the next episode or something.
It's more. That is supposed to be a reveal that adds greater context to previous episodes. I like that part because that shows how calculated Volley is. She has layers upon layers of plans. Because originally, I think that she has this face dancer, right? And she was initially going to assign this face dancer to Yanez, the princess. So if something were to go wrong, that was her plan for basically putting a Bene Gesserit on the fucking throne, because she could, since she's with her for so long, she could shapeshift and then end up on the throne, and now the Bene Gesserit has. That's one plan. The other plan where she brings her along is with Haro, the Harkonnen guy, the young Harkonnen guy that's leading his house. If he said no and she couldn't get her own family to do what she's trying to go along with it, I think she would have and then replaced it with the face dancer. And meanwhile, she's like, this is, we have you in our back pocket. I'm going to use you as a last resort. She's definitely coming into play. She just now says, I see what you're doing, and I agree with you, and I'll do anything that you ask. So she's definitely going to use that face dancer to do something. Maybe to kill Desmond Hart, maybe to, get the sisters back into the good graces of the Emperor, as
that's what
they're going down this crazy wrong path, at least in her view, with the Desmond creating this military force.
But that's the stuff I'm liking. And then we go back to the acolytes stuff. It's like, all right, well, the skeletons are coming out of the closet. It's going to be revealed and all this. I was like,
it's a brewing civil war, and I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I already have enough Bene Gesserit drama with the sisters and the emperor and the courts. I don't really care about that.
Yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. Like, it was better before, but I still don't like this.
Bummer. Not even that last episode?
Like, I do like that part, but it was like towards the end. Like the other stuff.
Okay.
Meh.
Yeah, I think like the end of episode 2 was the bright part of episode 2. The end of episode 4, the bright part of episode 4. But like all of episode 3 and at least half of episode 4 just ain't it for me. I think there's an interesting story here. I don't think they're telling it. I think that it's weird. I don't know why they cut it up the way they did in the order. Like, showing the certain events when they're doing the flashbacks. I don't know if the show was ever going to build momentum for me, but if there was any momentum going to episode 3, would have just murdered the momentum.
And a lot of people. This is not Alex. I guarantee you a lot of people dropped off after episode 3.
Yeah, I like the Dune universe. I just don't think that this is very compelling. There is better stuff on HBO. There's better stuff elsewhere, and I see what they're trying to do. I just don't know if the story is strong enough, or I don't know if the showrunner. I don't know what they're doing, but it would take a miracle for the last 2 episodes for me to recommend this to anyone. Because right now I'm like, don't watch this. I don't think people should watch this series.
I disagree. I think you should watch it, but know that it has problems and it has boring bits. But the good bits that are there are juicy enough. If you're a fan of Dune and if you're interested in sci-fi, I really like the imagery on here, some of the stories that they're telling. To tell people not watch any of it, that's like fucking Rings of Power territory for me.
It feels like a waste of time. Like, I'm not learning anything about the Dune universe. I'm not interested in this period of time.
I'm definitely learning about stuff in the Dune universe. Episode 4, we can go through multiple revelations. Like I said, you got the introductions of the Tailaxu, you got face dancers, you got Itzy and technology.
So the things that you've mentioned so far are 15 total seconds of the episode, though. It's like they show you a flash of it. They're not incorporated into the show.
Which means these last 2 episodes. Now, we're taking a snapshot, right? Because there's 2 more hours, right? Maybe 2 hours, 30 minutes left. And but as you are right now, if you took a snapshot where you're at, you said, "Nah, skip it."
Yeah, because it feels like they're like member berries. It's like, oh, you read the books, you remember this cool thing. It's like, cool. Are we gonna go into that? Or are you just referencing it as for my benefit, and you have no idea what's going on with
this is like, I'm not as excited. It's like, okay, well, this is gonna be a key component. I'm not like, oh, this is this.
I think the face dancer is gonna be a key component. It has to be, right? It's a super important thing. But I think a lot of the other Easter eggs are just, they list them because they're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to put this in? It's like, is it going to matter? No. Can we please focus on the interesting? Like, I want to see more Valley. I want to see more Desmond Hart. I want to see things from more of his perspective. And I get that he's a mystery box character, but we can still kind of see more of him. And I just think we're focusing on all the wrong things. And I am not enjoying my time watching this.
Bummer.
I kind of want Mark Strong to be a more vital character as well.
I think the point of his manipulation is that he is weak and he goes in any direction. This is motherfucker that you can manipulate. Now everybody's manipulating. His wife's manipulating. His daughter's manipulating him. His son is just a fuck up like him. And the Sisterhood is manipulating. Desmond's manipulating. That's what it's supposed to be. But Mark Strong is strong. Must be strong. But not this version of Mark Strong. But yeah, no, I totally see where you guys are coming from. I just think that, the series does have some problems, and I'm floating at slightly above average. That's why it's a 6, not a 10. I really want it to be a 10 out of 10. I want this to be a natural extension of Denis Villeneuve's Dune that adds greater context. And frankly, these last 2 episodes have really, especially episode 4, the visual stuff is really starting to get away from Denis Villeneuve. And granted, this is 10,000 years ago, so you can use that excuse. But I hate going to the club and these cheap sets in the club. The Lancelot, that look great. Anytime they're in the Emperor's throne room and that kind of stuff, that's good. But when you're in the fucking club and you're doing other stuff like the Harkonnen, it just feels like Game of Thrones ripoff kind of thing. And then the club is just That's that old sci-fi Dune, which is cheesy and hokey that you should see if you really want to see
That one might
Leto
have
the
its
second.
charm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it has its charm. I'm trying to convince my girl to go watch it with me. She won't, but I'm trying to. But yeah, so okay, let's go ahead and give. I think we'll give episode 3 and 4 an individual rating, but overall, I'm gonna have to say that so far we've hit a weak point, and we are stumbling. This is how I feel about these 2 episodes. A weak point, stumbling. Right at the end, we've got our grip and we've got some traction, and hopefully we can get that traction into the last 2 episodes. Let's get the general feeling right now. Is that kind of what y'all are thinking as well? Or even worse than that, you're just like,
yeah, because I wasn't as high up on 1 and 2 like you were. Right. I really liked the end of episode 2, and we didn't kind of go anywhere with it. Like we had hit that momentum. We're like, cool, I'm excited about this again, and then we didn't touch that moment for a long time. And I'm worried
until episode 4, right? And pretty much, do you agree with me that you could just drop episode 3 and everything's fine?
Yeah, but I'm worried that's going to happen in episode 5 that we just start focusing on something else entirely, and it's like, oh, we got to follow the resistance.
I think we're on track. I think episode 5 continues it. I've seen like the previews and things, like the scenes from it. It looks like, at the very least, we'll be on track for the last 2 episodes. No more flashbacks. What I'm saying is, do you think we could have dropped episode 3?
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. I think it left a really bad taste in my mouth. All right, let's go into the individual episode ratings. Let's go to episode 3. Let's start there.
3 is a 3.
3 is a 3.
4 is a 4. 4 is a 4. 3 is a 3.
You're jumping ahead, damn you. Okay. 3 is a 3. We'll start there. Alex, what do you think of episode 3?
I don't think it's like even average, because like I said, 3 we could have skipped it or like put that footage in the first episode.
Yes.
That way we get some backstory and then we fast forward and continue that story from there. That way we didn't have to, like as you said, a filler or skip that episode.
Yeah, I agree with him. I think that some of this footage actually would have been really great earlier on, so I don't think that all of it is bad. It's bad where it's positioned in the series, and I was just so we left on such a great cliffhanger in episode 2, and you're like, okay, are we gonna get to that part? It's like no. Okay.
For an hour, we have to do mostly flashbacks.
All right. Yeah, so 3 is a 3. I don't think it's good.
Yeah. No, I understand completely, and I was disappointed with it. I'm between a 4 and a 5. Let me go through the episode here, and I'll give it to you. Valia, you know what? Let me give it to you up front. I'm gonna go 4 out of 10, slightly below average, because I think, while there's good elements in it, it's wrong. It's out of the order. If you wanted to tell an episode like this, it would have worked in a 10-episode season as you're building everything up and then you're moving into it. As a flashback that is irrelevant and you can just go from episode 2 to 4 and you're good to go, that it really does a disservice to the momentum of the series. It almost feels like a filler episode, and there's only 6 fucking episodes in your series. That's not good. So we're going to go 4 out of 10. And this one's called Sisterhood Above All. So it's mostly flashbacks, like I said. You got the younger actress of Alia Harkonnen. You got a younger actress of Tula of Harkonnen. And she marries Ori. Or she's going to get married to Ori Atreides. And, it's like this love story here. The horse dies, and she shows sympathy towards the horse. She clearly knows what she's doing with poisons and alchemy and stuff like that. And so they're setting that up, and you're like, what's going on here? Why? You don't yet know. Why is a Harkonnen marrying an Atreides? Like, what are we doing? Romeo and Juliet? They kind of make it seem like it's Romeo and Juliet. Oh, fuck our families. They don't know. We got to stop this vicious cycle. But it turns out all of that. Oh, by the way, obligatory sex scene. It's always HBO can't help themselves. So you have this younger Tula sex scene superimposed over ritual dancing of the Atreides. I'm like, it's losing points for me. Look, I like sex and I like these things, but it's just goofy. And it when you don't care about any. Did you care about any of those Atreides characters?
No.
I don't give a fuck. So when it's revealed that they're all fucking murdered, it's like, all right. Cool, I guess. And Atreides versus Atreides, those are the 2 pronunciations. I have it written down here. I forgot. This is 2 weeks ago. Tulia reveals herself to Ori, basically, and then kills them. And you can tell that she is sad. I think a part of her loved him. Maybe truly all of her loved him. But her loyalty is to the house and her sister. Her sister, Valia, made her do this, basically, and convinced her to do it. And it's crazy. Though she does still let the little Atreides boy go. I think she's just overwhelmed by it. And that may be her downfall, right? House Atreides are going to know that the Harkonnens did this, and it continues the blood feud. Maybe this is going to... I'm trying to find justification for this in the episode. Maybe this is going to factor in. The Atreides are going to get back at the Harkonnens, get back at Tulia, get back at Valia. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's leading up to it.
It feels weird. Yeah. And then they got the scene of this bull watching her. And I'm looking at this, and it's just not as impactful as it needs to be. It just feels meaningless. I guess the bull is thanking her because, right, the Atreides was going to kill the bull. So I guess the bull's, like, thanking her. What do you think this is, Alex? Help me here. What is the... See? That's not good.
I don't know.
That's not good.
I mean, I was, after going through some of the early seasons of Game of Thrones, it's like, oh, cool. Like, because we got exactly the same kind of thing.
The nature and the mysteriousness and the, what do you call it? Like, the spirit of whatever. Here, it just doesn't work. It doesn't have the same effect.
It could have been an email. Like, that whole section could have been a real short thing.
You've said that before.
I have.
Email thing.
It's like they had this long-ass thing where she killed all these people, and it didn't need to be anywhere near that long. It felt like you're wasting my time.
So Valia never takes the sister oath. She's in the range. She's, they're basically punishing her because she's not. She's loyal to her house, et cetera, et cetera. Then so a sister superior, the one that we've saw before, which by the way, I have no reason for the bad makeup. Okay, here's another negative point for me. Why is the sister superior look like an old lady makeup using a younger actress? Find an old woman. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe later on she's going to show up young, or she uses some power and, to be young.
Yes, it just took me out.
It takes you out.
What is that?
It's just like Acolyte when you have the motherfucking young guy and he's got the boulder-sack haircut and he's got this terrible beard. He's like, it's awful. It's in a multi-million-dollar budget. You should never be like, you look bad. That's not even good old makeup.
Cast any old lady.
Right. There are really good old ladies out there.
They're like, that's a real person. I was like, Jesus, they look fucking weird.
Not a real person. So anyway, she takes her under her wing and shares the DNA program and all the genetics that they're doing and the trying to create the perfect lines. And I just don't understand why the fake old lady makeup. Anyways, Valia refuses to undergo the agony as well. So they set her up. These are my two best students. We're going to do this. And she just can't do it. She gets up and leaves when both of them were essentially given an opportunity. So that gives a little bit of backstory to these two. She murders her later on, whatever. But they're two different paths that are happening. And I thought, well, Valia's fucked. But really, the sister superior really sees something in her, sees her.
You have unfinished business.
Initiative.
You must go here. Take this.
Lets her go. Actually gives her the thing, but she's like, you either return the Reverend Mother or you don't return it all. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then we got the Tola and Valia stuff. And so back at home, the Harkonnens are fucking pissed at her. For killing off all these Atreides. They're like, this is going to blow back on us.
You killed your brother Griffin because of a stupid feud as well. So they just
the Griffin thing she's getting revenge for. And she almost kills the mother. Mm-hmm. She's like, she's crazy. And she just leaves and undergoes the agony at that point. And then Tulia comes out, and that's when they both decide to go to the Sisterhood. Fuck this.
We're gonna make it our second chance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then this is when I wrote, I just don't understand the logistics of the houses in Dune. It's like there seems to be like 47 people at most in a house. It's like, how can 47 people inhabit an entire planet? Because each house has its own planet. And it's like, what is the economy? Whale blubber, whale fur.
Whale fur.
And it's like, what? It's like, how are these galactic powers? There's a little, and that's not necessarily the show's fault. It's kind of a little bit, Frank's fault because he didn't really flesh out that. He doesn't need to. You're supposed to kind of flesh it out, but it just makes you think. When you're actually starting to build a franchise, you need to think of these things and make it make sense. And the show's not doing it. The show has a little bit of that Rings of Power. There are 17 elves in the Elven Kingdom, and there's 127 orcs.
And the fast travel. They fast travel a lot in the show where there's like, I'm just gonna go back, and it's like you're just gonna, how much it costs to do that.
Yeah.
You don't just get to do
Yeah.
Yes,
And then the scene, there's these scenes. I think it goes on for like 10 minutes of mourning Lalia,
Yeah.
like I don't know her name, but it sucks. I was bored as fuck during that part. I don't care about her.
She's
I get
dead.
that Tula cares about her.
Oh,
but why
I
does
forgot
Tula
about her.
care about
Yeah,
her?
I
We
said I
didn't see
forgot
the
about her.
development between these two. They just talk about, oh, you were like a mother to me.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
that
I
happened
wish you were
off
too.
screen. What was that?
Yeah, like they just make mention of it. It's like, I pretend like you're my mother. It's like, I pretend like you're my daughter. It's like,
Right.
cool.
It's
She's
cool.
Something's gonna
But that's
happen,
not
whatever.
enough for me
It's
to have
not,
a
it's
mourning
not.
scene later. It's like I didn't even care about the acolytes anyway. I'm glad there's one fewer. But anyways.
Or is there?
yeah.
She visits the Harkonnens. But anyway, Tula uses the DNA genetic machine to keep Lilia, whatever, alive, okay? In secret. And we are revealed that it is a thinking machine, a computer, an AI. They're using banned technology. It's fucked up. And if the secret got out, then obviously Desmond Hart and the Empire or the Imperium and the houses would be fucking pissed. But it makes sense, that it's like, how do you engineer DNA and do all? You need some kind of supercomputer, and that's what they've got over there.
Well, she's got the little rock or whatever, opens up the gate and everything. So it's like, it's got to be something.
magic
in there.
rock.
It's a magic rock.
I guess, I think they're allowed to have computers, but not thinking machines like AI, and that crosses a line. And this does kind of look, it could still be either or, but I think it's thinking machine, more
It
AI.
is,
so.
yeah.
Anyways, we do get, so this episode is essentially the origin for the Harkonnen and the Valia character and the Tula character. Yeah.
And we kind of already did that before.
Yeah, and get this, there was one director for episodes 3 and 4, which could maybe, explain some of the weak elements that are ringing hollow here, because some directors present things in better ways than others. But of course, he is working with a screenplay that's written by somebody, so I don't know. Richard Donnelly did 3 and 4. But because this episode had no Desmond Hart, and the younger sisters couldn't really hold up the episode themselves.
They used the voice.
The younger actresses. Yeah, exactly. Couple times, but I just didn't care about any of those characters and their backstory. I care about them now, and it, like Alex said, if we had been shown this in a longer episode season where you're adding more context and you're building them, fine. But don't say, look at all this interesting shit, then take it all away and give us a shitty origin story that's not compelling, and then go back to the cool stuff. It feels useless.
Yeah, it definitely would have helped episode 1 to get me hooked, because episode 1 was not it.
Yeah. So drawn out, too much time on nothing. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Okay, now we go into episode 5.
4.
Or no, 4. Twice Born. This one I liked much more. So, because there's a lot of good stuff in this. It starts with the sisters trying to kill herself. One sister wakes up, like the rebel sister. She wakes up before the others and ends up saving one of the girls who's having a premonition, who's about to kill herself. Just like we saw the scene where she actually did kill herself and her eyes are sewn shut. This is that horror. This is that good stuff. That voice and the eyes, they're kind of beckoning them to do it. And the voice to me sounds robotic. So initially I thought, oh, this is going to be Leto the second with blue eyes. But I also thought perhaps AI, Brian Herbert stuff, the Butlerian Jihad is when we kind of start seeing this. And so I was between these two. And after this episode, they're not doing the God Emperor, you cowards. You must love the worm. If you love Dune, you must love the worm God Emperor. But I don't think it is. I think it's AI. Some AI bad guy. Desmond.
Yeah,
and now we
the
think
vision at the end.
They're always
the drawing
linking.
is the same thing as what he experienced through his eye.
And they're trying to get the sisters to kill themselves. So it's got to be some kind of plot. Now, is it Desmond himself or the creators of Desmond? And I think Desmond is a robotic, enhanced human being. Maybe a
Ebola. I still want magic.
Living tissue surrounded.
Endoskeleton, So, anyways, one sister, I don't understand. Does this sister just suck? And she's like a flunky?
Yeah,
because she's not experiencing the
You could be talking
dreams.
about 7 women right now.
Right. That's true, unfortunately. At least in our opinion. She's not experiencing the dream. No. And then when Tula does the experiment where everybody's drawing, she's like, hey, you, come here, help me. And she doesn't actually have her do anything. She's just standing in the background, not drawing or anything. I guess not to embarrass her because she didn't have the premonition that everybody else was having the premonition.
I would be like, oh, no, I'm having a draw. Looking over.
Copying the person. Joe, you're so goddamn funny.
I didn't even do the pass.
Oh, yeah, I did that. I had that same dream.
Visions.
I had that same dream. Yeah, so anyways, at first, when I first watched it, here's a problem with the direction. I thought that she did have the vision. You know what I mean? Because they show this scary thing.
Yeah. And
she wakes up. So I thought, okay, all the sisters are having the vision because the first thing she does is she walks down the hallway and all of them are, in the. So I thought she had it. She was just the first one to wake up, but no. Later, it just didn't come across that way upon second watching.
Have that it factor.
She didn't even have the vision. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, Valia goes to the House Harkonnen, and it's like, why? If she denied, a Bene Gesserit sister for like 3-4 times, it's really only why, Joe?
I forget what his name was.
Alex, why does she want to do this? If she's refused the fucking
to give the brother,
mm-hmm.
Use brothers like, hey, look, I could help you out. You help me out. She wants to get in good graces.
Her nephew, Haro,
because she. I was like, well, why is she helping her family if she hates her family or wants to prove them wrong or whatever? It's because she's been dispelled. She got expelled from the fucking thing. And the only way to get in is, the new house, we're going to allow the new house to come in. Every house is assigned to Bene Gesserit, and she assigns herself so she can get in the Landsrod and then execute her plan, which is at the last minute save the Emperor. And then the Emperor will go, wow.
You're so cool.
You're so cool. You're back in my good graces, and Desmond go away. But that's not what happens. So anyways, but I like this. All this stuff, this political maneuvering, this using, and the fuck that she's fucking manipulating her family. Of course, the uncle is still there, and he's like, you're bad for the family, blah, blah, blah. And they come to heads, and this manipulation where it's like, yes, you will finally be one of the greater houses instead of one of the lesser houses. But these dudes show up, and they want him to be the one that accuses the fucking Emperor to his face. And because they're scared of the blowback. So all this stuff, really good. I like that.
But then it gets ruined by the
Then
club
it gets
scene.
ruined. Literally, you said it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we go to the club scene, and the princess is there. It's like, hey, I love you. Start kissing. It's like, nah. We replace the machines for another thing, the spice, so we're always under control. All this
right,
bullshit.
she's always suspicious, and there was a dinner scene where Desmond is eating, and she's all talking shit. It's like, there's this rumor going around, blah blah blah, and so the show is desperately trying to give Princess Yanez something to do.
Yes,
and it never feels like
she's not important,
right? Like
and
she's
as
important.
well with Constantine, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Landsrad meeting comes together. They announce all the houses. I love seeing these visuals. The fucking High Highliner and all the ships coming out and then the people landing. It's cool stuff. Meanwhile, the Emperor visits Desmond, and Desmond's like, you need to be bold. We need to show him your strength. Now is the time to do this. And he's like, no, I need to show him restraint. I need to this and that. And he's not on board. Yeah. So meanwhile, his wife, who is the real balls of the family, be it bad or good, wants to show off, the House Carino's power and sure up the power of the Emperor. So she basically almost gives Desmond permission to just go off and do what the fuck he wants.
Spread the rumor.
Yeah, the queen is fucked. Yeah, the queen leaked the truth of the Richese boy.
Yep.
And she's like, sometimes Yaviko just needs a push. And so she basically tells Desmond to do what he needs to do. Push him. So Desmond immediately sends soldiers out, and he's arresting the saboteurs. How he figured it out, he's probably got his own, underground web and figuring it out that way. But meanwhile, the sisters draw the same thing. Enhanced with spice, they all draw pictures of what, Joe?
The worm and some glowing eyes.
Yep, the Shai-Halud, the worm. They think it's
and
a pit
I draw
at first.
A house picture.
Oh,
no.
Fuck. That's the wrong drawing. Well, what is she saying?
Yeah.
You didn't have the vision, did you?
You come with me, damn it.
No. But yeah, so they say the reckoning has come or whatever, and somehow it's tied to the Shai-Halud and then the eyes, but I think it's a misdirect. It has to be a misdirect. How this is happening, I don't know. I hope there is a satisfying explanation.
Better hope so.
Yeah. Then we get the scene of this sister that Valia has always been keeping near her. And you're like, why? What the fuck? You use your abilities. I'm like, what's the abilities? This episode reveals it that she can transform. And this is a cool thing that's been in the lore and is used actually heavily. No, that's a Gola. Face dancers factor in more in some of the later novels. There's a side plot with the Emperor's son. Alex, do you remember this? Like, what is going on with his son?
Oh, well, the Emperor looks at him and is like, "You're the reason that everything sucks because you are having sex with this girl and you spilled the beans. All you have to do is keep your, keep it in your pants and keep your mouth shut, and we would be fine."
And then the princess goes to talk to him. What was her point there? And then how he goes.
Dad.
She wants to call out the dad over the murder, and then he's like,
"That's what she sent Constantine to do, but Constantine couldn't do it when he approaches his father and is, you're seeing me off, and he's like, I just wanted to say thank you."
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like the kids are just there to kind
understand.
of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was the son made the decision that he wasn't going to do it, so she had to step up and I have to do it myself. And if I cared about her character, it would have been cool, but I don't care about her character, so you're wasting my time.
So then we get the good scene. It's the lance rod scene. You got Desmond doing his thing, basically, revealing to everybody after Harkonnen makes the accusation, or he's about to make the accusation. Princess bursts in. She makes the accusation for him, and he's like, "Oh, well, good. I don't have to have the blowback." So there's the accusation, and Desmond owns it. He's like, "Yeah, I killed the little boy. I executed him. He violated the law. It's forbidden. And in fact, there was the plot to kill us all."
Brings out a little tiny jet.
These people here were all involved in the plot to kill us all. So he kills not only the underground dude leader, I think the Ixian that sold the hunter killer, and then one of the house guys, not both of the house guys, because the two house guys that showed up to Harkonnen and said you could join. He only kills one of them. I'm wondering why he didn't kill the other guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that works as well, because obviously he didn't kill the princess's trainer. He's got plot armor.
Right, Atreides.
He's got plot armor for now.
Did he not know, or is he secretly does know, and he's going to use him as a piece later on against the princess?
I'm curious, but not enough to continue watching. Not
curious. Fuck you, Jim. You're curious, but not enough. Anyways, I like how he executes everybody. I like this. At first, I thought his performance was a little weird, the way he was talking, and that's just, I think, just Travis Fimmel's, mysteriousness and how he does it. Did you think he executed his speech well?
It was fine.
Yeah. Cool. Me too.
I love it.
It's just eccentric and different, and I like that.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a
part of it.
weirdo, and he acted like a weirdo.
And he acted like a weirdo. Everybody was captivated. In the end, though, you could tell doing this, I guess killing that many people simultaneously hurts him, takes it out of him. He kneels, and you can see on his back, blood starts to happen. So this is not an omnipotent, this is not a god, this is not, this powerful thing, and that's starting to lead me to believe that it is man-made. Or it is robotics that, if you stress them too much, they have limits, and he is dying.
Yeah, the same vision is pretty much on, like, whenever we're zooming in his eye or zooming out.
Right.
It's the blue eye.
And the blue eyes, the same thing.
So this has to somehow, confirm for you that the blue eyes and the Desmond are linked.
Yes.
And as soon as it did that, and I thought to myself, well, the blue eyes don't really glow. When you're influenced by spice, your eyes aren't really glowing. They're illuminated, but these are like literally like robot eyes, in my opinion, because of the brightness of the light.
It all makes sense now.
So what?
Army of the Dead. Remember
Army
that
of
blue
the
eyes?
What part in Army of the Dead
The
has
zombies.
The zombie one that Zack Snyder did for Netflix. There's that one zombie with real blue eyes.
I thought you were talking about Bruce Campbell.
Oh, Army of Darkness?
It's
No,
Army
that's a
of
great
Darkness.
movie.
What were you talking about? Army of
the Dead?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. I thought you
The
said
zombie
Army of the
blue eyes
Darkness.
was never explained.
Blue-eyed zombie for no
They're
reason.
connected.
They're connected, Joe. Man, Joe, what the fuck?
I've always been trying to figure out why the zombies had blue eyes.
And it's because he's from Dune.
Because he's
Bam.
from Dune. Great. No, because it's
You're welcome.
a Ixian or AI, power. And Ixians want... I'm trying to see, how does this make sense? Because if Desmond is let's either call him an android or a early golem, Gola, which is going to be in Dune Messiah. So they're either setting up the use of Golas, because there's a Gola in Dune Messiah, and it's a huge plot point and I won't spoil it, but he gets very close to Paul, and, there's some things there. So maybe Dune Prophecy is setting up this Gola character where it's like almost like an android kind of thing, a clone almost. Or it's something wholly unique to this series where he's an android or he's a human with enhanced robotics that allow him to spread nanotechnology and then burn that nanotechnology at will. But we've seen it has limitations. But the disconnect that I'm trying to figure out is, if he's using technology, why is he like, we must destroy all technology, yet he's using technology? So he is either brainwashed, a religious zealot, and has been brainwashed that he's a prophet, and then I don't know, whoever's controlling him can flip a switch.
I mean, if he froths up the entire empire on anti-AI and then points at the Sisterhood and says, I know they've got AI in their homeworld. And so it could be used as even if it's a tool that he uses, he can use it as a weapon against the people that is truly his enemies. Yeah. So, I mean, because they've got an AI.
Or the people that control Desmond Hart want the Sisterhood gone, and that's how they're doing it.
And they know that
but
there is
the fact that it's using technology is hidden, and it's being presented as prophecy with worms and Shai-Hulud, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's just another way to
I think that's so. I think good. So now, I think we've made that work. I think that's what it is. There's 3 theories. We'll talk about them in just a second, but that's what I think it is. So then. Anyways, meanwhile, the acolytes are in one of those mute cages, and they're all talking to each other. Turns out that the previous sister, her beliefs did not die with her, and they start reading from this book, and they're reading her stuff. There's an impending sister civil war about to begin with the acolytes. And frankly, I don't care. But
there's
I think the ending,
rebellion.
I think the ending is going to be something we all want. I am going to predict that if it's acolytes versus Reverend Mothers, the ones in black versus the ones in gray, the old ladies versus the young ladies are going to fucking die. And Valia's going to have
ladies
something
every day.
for them. Old ladies every day, right? So maybe by the end, all these acolytes are fucking dead. And that would be cool. And shocking. Anyways, so Tola sees the Sisterhood crumbling in her visions, and it's interesting because was she having premonitions herself? Because when she wakes up, the chamber is broken, but you could see spice emanating. So she's been breathing spice and maybe having enhanced premonitions. But anyways, this is the big reveal. Layla is now resurrected and born twice, the title of the episode. So now you're thinking, oh, wait, is that prophecy born twice mean Desmond? Or does the prophecy born twice mean Paul? Does the prophecy born twice mean Leto II, God Emperor Worm? Or does born twice now mean Layla? So we've got all of these. And that's it. No, Valia lets her uncle die.
Yeah. Bobby B.
She just get him out of here.
Yeah, poor Bobby B.
Bobby B from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Didn't even look like the man. He was old, decrepit, and coughing, and she doesn't give him his inhaler and lets the old Harkonnen die because he's too weak. And, while Valia's methods are fucked up and Valia's ruthless as shit, she is gaining them power. And she is, ultimately achieving her goals. And that's cool that one of our protagonists is almost not even a protagonist. It's almost like an antagonist. And that I really like about her character. And then finally, the face dancer thing is revealed, the Tleilaxu. And, she's always had her. She could have been the princess. She could have been Haro, the Harkonnen, but she hasn't had to use those yet. But now, in the last 2 episodes, there's gonna be some kind of. And now, if you don't know the Tleilaxus, the face dancer is a part of the Tleilaxu race, and actually, this never made sense to me in Frank stuff. The face dancers, the one that can shapeshift, they're all shitty. They're like on the lower rung of that society. And so they're like slaves. And so I guess what they're implying, because her backstory is she ran away or whatever, and the Sisterhood took her in. So I guess that's what they're saying. But the face dancers are all supposed to be male. So I'm guessing that maybe they're saying there can be female face dancers in the Tleilaxu race in the bottom rung, and maybe all of the bigotry against her, for that is why she had to run away and why the Sisterhood grabbed her. But none of this is shown or implied in the episode. This is all from lore and speculation, stuff like Joe would not have access to. They would be like, oh, that lady could shapeshift this whole time. Okay, cool. That's going to come into play later.
It's like, okay, 5 seconds, okay.
But when I tell it, it's so much more compelling.
Yes,
and it's like, whoa,
exactly.
This is cool as shit. Well, show that. The next episode better give a reason for why there's a Tleilaxu because traditionally these two factions hate each other.
There needs to be a full episode of flashbacks again where we go back and get her backstory in a 6-episode series. And
anyways,
little clip.
But see, there's nothing in there that I disliked except for the Sun Emperor side bit. And the stupid princess, I can help. I can do something.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really liked it. I think this episode 4 is the best of the series so far. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. What about you?
You give it a 4?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking episode 4. I'm giving an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, he gave it a 4.
Yeah, because I'm already checked out. Like I said, I think you're doing a lot.
Oh, you think it's a below average?
Yeah, because I think like you said, you have a lot more of the knowledge. Like, well, that's cool. That's cool. It's like, that happened at the end. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like, I don't care about this. I don't care about the rebellion. I don't care about the other rebellion. I don't care about this other stuff.
So those 4 points came from basically the
meeting.
Rat
Yeah,
scene.
the meeting at the end and all that cool stuff that happened. I like it.
Okay.
And again, I like whenever it's like the older sister, she's trying to make a power move. That's great
fair
stuff.
enough.
But yeah, and 3, and I saw these back to back right now. It's like I'm already checked out as well.
Yeah, I like it a little more than that. I'm going to give it a 5. I think when you think about like HBO political intrigue television series, this feels average. Like this doesn't feel. I mean, there are worse Game of Thrones episodes, there's worse House of the Dragon episodes, but this doesn't feel super compelling. And I really wish that we had focused more on the storylines that I find that are working. And I mean, this episode could have gotten, for me, like 9 or 10 out of 10 if we cut some things out and we had really been building up, this mystery box with Desmond and ramping up this horror stuff that with like this crazy dreams. And like I said, I think that there is a really good story to tell in Dune Prophecy. I just don't think they're telling it, or they want to tell it, but they want to pack on a bunch of other shit that I'm just not interested in. And they've done nothing to. Sometimes you can be made interested in stuff that they present in a cool way, and I just don't think that they're doing it. So I think that this is pretty good, but it came pretty late in the series.
Okay, well, we'll see how this thing ends. There is only episode 5 and 6, which we'll do another double review by the time that ends. Episode 5 is going to be December 15th, and episode 6 is right before Christmas, December 22nd. So we'll have the truth and the story of all of it right before Christmas as a gift to us, and I am curious. Or is it just going to be a bunch of more questions? Are they going to be able to resolve the plot lines? How does the I'm drawing a blank. Hand in the box. What's that called?
Oh yeah,
the test. How does the test come into play?
Yeah.
The Quizax Hatteract, how do they do that in the future? How did the Bene Gesserit get back into the good graces? Because right now they've been shunned.
How does killing off half of House Atreides impact the universe? Yeah, it's like I want to know how that works.
Yeah. A lot of people are speculating that little boy is either, because it depends on how long ago it was, is the father of the Swordmaster Atreides.
Or it could be that fits.
That could be a cool reveal. And then I really want to see, how are they tying in this AI robotic sounding voice with the blue eyes? How does that tie in? Who is behind Desmond Hart? I'm still interested in that. And so we'll see how it all ends. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.